Welcome to Influential Entrepreneurs, bringing you interviews with elite business leaders and experts, sharing tips and strategies for elevating your business to the next level. Here's your host, Mike Saunders.
Hello and welcome to this episode of Influential Entrepreneurs. This is Mike Saunders with Marketing Huddle, and today we have with us Gordon Ballinger with Trinity team at Keller Williams Preferred. Welcome to the program, Gordon.
Good morning. Thank you.
Hey, so get us started with telling us a little bit about yourself and what led you down the path to your entrepreneurial journey.
Well, I got my broker's license in 1975.
So you're a newbie.
I am. And have owned offices since 1977. I bought and sold them, and ended up with Remax for about over 20 years. And then I found Keller Williams, and it's really a good place for us and for our team.
You know, when I hear that, I hear longevity, and I'm sure that making decisions to move from one organization to another, no matter which organization it is a tough decision. And so it makes me think of a question to ask, because you ended it with a really unique word, which is team. And I think that plays so much into business these days, because when one of the leaders of an organization thinks first of a team, that really tends to play throughout into, all of their clients, because if the team's treated well, the clients are going to be treated well. So tell us a little bit about your focus on, team, your team building, and what that means to, you in bringing real estate services to the community.
Well, we've, as you know, been in business for some time, and the majority of our new business comes from referrals from past clients. And so with that said, we have people that we have done business with commercially that want to buy or sell a house, and we want to be that one-stop shop for them. So we've created a residential team which will take care of the residential sales and service. We also have a management company which manages residential, commercial, and HOAs. And so that's an added thing, that if a client, for example, I have one now that is going to Belize, and he has a home up here that he wants us to take over and rent for him. And so with that said, not every broker can do everything. Mm-hmm. Eric and I both specialize more in commercial. Quite frankly, I'm not a very good home salesman. So we do what we do best, and we have good agents on our team that take care of our clients just like we would. So that's kind of the synopsis of what we have in our team.
I really do love that, where, someone is transparent enough to say, this particular area is not my area of expertise. So rather than that being a chink in the armor, it actually is something where you say, and because this is the case, I'm going to bring in someone that's part of our team that is really good at this. Because when everyone can operate in their areas of efficiency where they do best, now all of a sudden the entire engine or organization is humming right along. So I love that layout, and also the fact that one-stop shop. I think that so many people just would prefer that. They don't want to go searching around for a new relationship for, residential, commercial, business, property management. So I love that holistic approach. No matter what division of your organization that we're thinking of, I'm sure that there's specific questions that potential customers may have. So when you have your past clients that would send in a referral, what are typically some of the things they're concerned with or questions that you get from them?
With regard to the residential, if they've been a commercial client, Mike?
Any one of those, because I would suspect that there would be some recurring theme throughout any, whether you're a residential client or a commercial client, that they would have some specific questions about almost like interviewing your firm. What are some of the things that people are most concerned with? Is it, what is your commission? Is it how long have you been in business? What are they typically looking for that you're able to solve for them?
Well, I think it's the confidence that we have in the team that we put together, that we bring them whether it be residential, commercial, or management, we put together a good team, an experienced team, and we have an interview with them. We bring them in and set them down and say, this is who's going to be taking care of you. Now, Eric and I will be watching it, but we just want you to know that we think you're better off here for now. If you have any questions of us, please feel free to call us. But it's a warm handoff, if you know what I mean. And
I like
stronger.
That idea.
And we go back. I'm doing deals right now with the third generation. And
that's a legacy. That's something that probably when you started out you didn't necessarily think of as a goal, but I'm sure it's just such a nice, feather in your cap now to be able to see that and not just say it, but see it happen, I'm sure, over and over again now, where it's the second and third generation that you're doing business with. That just really screams trust and reliability.
Well, and we put a lot back into our customers. We do customer appreciation parties. We're getting ready to do one where we rent a place called the Bay. We rent the whole Bay, bring all of our clients and their children there. It's a big water park. And we serve hot dogs, hamburgers, etc. And we have 250 to 300 clients come out, bring their kids, and we do 3 or 4 of those a year.
Yeah.
That's where we spend our money. And
it's a good place to spend it. And they can see that and feel it and know that you went all out and didn't just, have some little cheap party favors. So I think that that's a really, really neat representation of putting your money where your mouth is. You don't just say that you get referrals from past customers or treat your past customers right. You actually do it. When people end up coming to your team, do you ever hear any feedback once they're on board and getting some good results of what it was that that stood out to them when they were making that decision? Because obviously they can go with a lot of real estate firms. So do you ever hear some people that said, the thing that really stuck with me was the fact that you guys, or you said, or you do, any some of those recurring themes that you hear from customers?
One of them that sticks out for me, which is a huge compliment, is that they trust me. In dealing with properties up to $2, $3, $4 million, that's important to be trusted.
Yeah.
But it's even as important on the $125,000, $200,000 deal. Can I trust you? And do you have my best interest first and foremost? Sometimes a client doesn't like what I say, but what I say is what I think is good for them. I don't think I lose any clients over that, but the question sometimes is, I can trust you, and the big thing is you always return my call. And that's a huge thing, and it doesn't sound like much, but for commercial brokers, that's huge, because commercial brokers don't always return calls promptly. And I have a rule that everything on my desk has to be answered before I leave, even if it's a voicemail.
Back years and years ago, I was in the banking business, and I remember that what you just said was called the sunset rule. And I don't know whether that's across, just some common in the industry or to that particular company. But, yeah, if the call comes in by 3 p.m., by sunset, I'm going to return that call, if not by the next day. And I think it's sad that I know I've said this for 10 and 15 years or more, that if you just do the little things right, like returning a phone call or even an email, these days with emails, it's the same thing. I'm sure that there's other brokers that don't even return emails promptly. Well, how easy is that to do? Or how easy is it to be driving in between appointments and returning a phone call? And
Absolutely.
Yet it's not done. And for you to say that that is what you're getting feedback where people are noticing that, that means that they have experienced the negative side of that in the past or the recent past to be able to comment about that for you. So I just think that that's just further and further confirmation that you guys hear that, you know what, guys, sometimes it's like in football, just blocking and tackling. We don't need the fancy plays, but just doing the regular things well over and over, like returning a phone call.
Yeah, it's that simple. It really is, and that's hard to get through to people. But it's like if I make a phone call, I want to return. Even if it's a voicemail. And I think we need to do that for our clients, to stay in touch, even with other brokers that are calling on properties. We need to stay in touch.
Well, you said something interesting. The word simple made me think of an old saying. You may have heard it too, but if it's simple to do, it's simple not to do. Or if it's easy to do, it's easy not to do. Well, returning that phone call, that's easy. Well, it's also easy not to do. And yet, we have seen time and time again that makes such a powerful impact. So, yeah, I really resonate well with that. Regarding commercial, which is your area of expertise specifically, what are you seeing in the industry that commercial clients are making mistakes on, and once you begin working with them, that you're able to give them some good guidance and help them to avoid specific mistakes?
Well, one of the biggest things is the loans. Most, let's say, entry-level investors, $1 million to $2 million, don't have a lot of knowledge about where to go for loans and what kind of loan they need and that kind of thing. But I think that where we can be of assistance is the fact of our knowledge, but also our knowledge of the areas and the types of properties that our clients are looking for. We've been at it long enough that we know most of the areas in greater Metro Denver area well enough to give opinions or to talk about or to show, for that matter.
Yeah, sometimes let's learn from someone else's mistakes. So if you have a body of knowledge from decades and decades of experience, even in the local area, where you've seen a certain scenario or situation turn bad, and you can say, you know what, I've seen this happen before, let's do this. And I'd sure want to be behind that guy with the machete in the jungle going, let's go this way, because I've been here before. And I think that just really shined through really well. We've talked a little bit about your team, and if we can look back 10 and 20 years, you look at some of the stock charts, and you look really, really close, and you see sharp ups and downs. But then you look, further back, 10, 20 years, and you just see some gentle ups and downs. Well, the point is, in business, there's ups and downs. So we see some tough times, and we see some great times. What do you guys do to inspire your team during the down times, as well as keeping them inspired during the high times?
Well, I think we residentially, for example, have an ability to level out the downtime somewhat because of our database. Because that's where the majority of our stuff comes from. We have a trust, we have a confidence in us, and that will help level out the playing field to a certain extent residentially. Now, commercially, I've been through the one in the 80s, the one in the 90s, and the one in 2000, and what we do is switch gears. For example, when things aren't being built, we don't sell a lot of dirt. We switch over into leasing. We sell office buildings or sell little strip centers. Then, like now, when things are very, very busy, In the building, I think, we have several properties under contract that are in various stages of development. And so we kind of have the ability to change gears, and that's something that I don't think the residential people have a lot of. But commercially, we have that ability, and that kind of stabilizes our business.
Yeah, that's a asset times 1,000. I mean, a lot of people can say that, but when you've got that strong foundation and database, but also what you said reminds me of when I was in graduate school and I took a class on corporate finance. And it wasn't necessarily here is a spreadsheet and an income and a balance sheet. It's teaching you what to do with the information that's on that sheet. So you could have industry knowledge and experience, and you could have that database, but you've got to have the wisdom, insight, and knowledge of what to do with that. So I think that's a big piece, because you have personally and your team has seen trends over the last 5 and 10 and 15 years of, ups and downs and how to bob and weave and how to pivot. And you make those moves. And then not that selling dirt or buying dirt is bad, but it might not be great today. So let's move to this. And then, a couple cycles down the road, let's move on back to this. And, hey, I thought that was not the case. Well, it wasn't back then, but today let's move here because I've seen these indicators. So I love when I hear that. And it makes me think too, and just kind of wrap up with this thought. How do you plan to stay relevant and thrive ahead in upcoming years? So we know that you've got the industry experience and the database and the trends. Do you do anything to keep yourself on the forefront of trends that are upcoming so that you can keep that trajectory?
Well, we do some research on the trends so that we try to stay at least up to the curve or maybe ahead of it. Mm-hmm. I think that with the team that we have, and with Eric as a second commercial, and we have a third commercial now, that I think it's basically our integrity that keeps us in front of people and our honesty with them. I mean, with our clients and our database, it's not about a single commission. Mm-hmm. It's about a lifetime of commissions. And and so, I've seen that work. I know it works. I spend $3,000 for a party and I pick up 3 deals. How, that doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out the finances of that. And so I think our database is our primary focus, and we're enlarging that, and we're cutting some back, and we keep it pruned back pretty good to where the clients that we have referred us business in the last 3 years.
Because they feel like there's that personal relationship being developed, not just a name in a contact database.
Absolutely. We even turn our database over to our residential guys, and they'll call and say, "Hi, Mrs. Jones. Gordon asked me to give you a call. I work with him and want to check and see if there's anything we can do for you." Mm-hmm. That's a warm call. You're not making cold calls.
Right. And when they can feel that call isn't pushing and, just not listening to what they say and say, "Well, do you know anyone else?" And then just not listening, I would venture to say that just the tone of that call, like, "Hey, we're here to help. Let us know. You might not have anything right now, but, just give us a ring, anything that comes up in your mind, and have a great day." And then they hang up from that call feeling like, "Oh, I appreciate that. That was really nice."
Mm-hmm. That's what we want.
Yep. Well, listen, I love hearing about your history and your knowledge and your expertise and integrity and trust, and just what a story of longevity and legacy. So thank you for your time. What is the best way that someone can learn more about Trinity Team?
We have the website that they can go on to, or if they would like to talk to somebody, I'll give you my office direct line, and that's 303-539-8153, and they're welcome to call me anytime.
Well, Gordon, thank you so much for your time. It was wonderful getting to know you.
Mike, you have a good day.
You've been listening to Influential Entrepreneurs with Mike Saunders. To learn more about the resources mentioned on today's show or listen to past episodes, visit www.influentialentrepreneursradio.com.